This screen is what I'm going to be working with because selling properties to Nigerians in diaspora, selling properties to the wealth preservers, and then selling properties to the creative industry income earners. Now, the wealth preservers are those who have actually made enough money from whatever businesses they got involved with, and now they do not want to leave the money in the bank. Reason being that the we already know what's happening with our economy at the moment. All right. So they do not want to leave their funds in the bank because it will be affected by the economy. All right. So what they want to do is that they are looking out for an investment that they call easily liquidated assets. And then real estate falls within the industry they are looking at, all right, the easily liquidated assets kind of investment, all right, and then they also want something that is secured enough that they can transfer legacy from themselves to their children, even when they are gone, all right. So they are looking out for established real estate company. They don't buy from just anyone, all right. They are buying from established real estate companies. So that's why I always say that perception is more important than experience if you must sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora, to the wealth preservers, and to the Gen Z. All right. Perception is more important than experience. All right. You have to be able to meet them at the point of their thought frequency. All right. You have to be able to meet them how they actually want to see you. All right. So now there is a particular expectation that they have of you, the kind of company they would like to invest with, the kind of individual they would like to speak to when it comes to property investment in Nigeria. So you have to be sure that you show up looking like who they are expecting. All right. You have to be sure that you speak up and sound like who they expected to listen to. All right. So let me share one of my I attended a training early last year. It was a very, expensive training. There, I learned something very important. The facilitator shared something, and he said he lost. He used himself as an example. He lost a big project because he did not know the difference between, the different types of coffee flavors. All right, so he had been invited for a meeting somewhere at Banana Island, and then he drove in, and one of the things that immediately triggered him was when he entered where the meeting was going to be held. All right, more like an eatery, but very, very isolated, kind of, not for everybody. He realized that his car, even though he drives an SUV, his car was the smallest in that particular place. And then he started shivering, but then composed. When he entered, he met with the man he went to, have the meeting with. And then the first thing was, what would you like to have? And then the attendant came in, offered different options. We have coffee, we have this, we have that. And then the next question was, okay, I would like to have coffee. And the next question was, what flavor? All right. And that was exactly where the mess up came up. All right. He was like, I've never heard of different flavors of coffee before. And then when he started stammering and struggling, the host had to help him out. So gave him this particular flavor. And that was actually where the meeting ended. Now, why did the meeting end there? Apparently, they did not proceed to even discuss the project again. The man actually he had an urgent call that he needs to, be in another important meeting. He drove out and all that, said he would schedule again. He never called back. Now, what happened there was that he did not meet him at the point of his expectation. All right. Apparently, in his judgment, he does not meet up with the category of people he would want to speak with if he cannot at least understand or even know the difference, the different types of coffee flavor. It simply means that he is not exposed enough to be able to earn his investments. All right. So these are little things that matter to this category of people called the wealth preservers. You would hardly meet this category of people on anyhow places. This is why people who are serious about this category of people sign up for some kind of clubs. All right, an average young person does not actually love golf club, but then because they want to be affiliated with a certain category of people, the wealth preservers, who are one of the categories of buyers, all right, they are forced to actually get in, register in such club, and then have access to them. They are forced to live in a particular kind of environment so to have access to a particular category of individual who buy property. All right. They are also forced to hang out in a particular location so to meet some certain category of individual. So for those joining us now, we have been able to filter out different categories of people who buy properties in Nigeria presently. All right, so and then we are resolved to just three categories, being the Nigerians in diaspora, the wealth preservers, and the creative industry income earners, otherwise regarded as the Gen Z. All right, so I just finished explaining the mindset of the wealth preservers, all right, who want to see you as someone who is actually at the same level with them. They do not want to invest down, all right. The rich speak to the rich. All right. They want to be sure that you are actually not the first person. He is not the first person in his category that is banking with you. He wants to be sure that you have been established enough to gain people of his caliber into your investments. That is, you've been selling properties to the same category of people that share similar class, similar status, and influence in the society. All right. So if you must sell to them, you must also show up as one who has that understanding. These people understand that you may not be whom you say you are, but all they want to be sure is that you are smart enough to impress them. All right. Not so long ago, I knew someone who was bidding for a project in MTN. All right. So he had no car as at the time that project was going on. And then he drove in there the first day with an SUV hired with a driver. And then the second day, he went in with a different SUV bidding for the project. And then when the project was actually secured, in all of these days, he was being escorted. All right. He was being escorted out to where he parked and all that. It was not because they honored him. They wanted to know how he came. All right. So on the last day when he got the project and the drafts, the manager in charge was that, well, you have so many luxury vehicles, you must be doing very well. He said, well, I must tell you, these cars are not mine. The man said, yeah, I know. I understand you've been coming with different types of luxury vehicles from day one, but one of the reasons we picked you is because you are smart enough to impress us. So these people understand this. So to sell to that category of individual, you actually do not need to go like you've just started. Okay, let's go. How do we project real estate to Nigerians in diaspora, to wealth preservers, and to the Generation Z in Nigeria, the creative industry income earners? All right, so now what's the difference between positioning and prospecting? All right, so basically, this is a build up to our boot camp that is coming up this month. All right, on the 23rd of this month, build up to that boot camp. All right, so you understand that at the boot camp we actually have a full day in our session, and then we also have 3 months of posts bootcamp follow up for the implementation. This is going to be just the introductory strategy session. The implementation will be, this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. This is the kind of content you are going to send out. This is how to set up your sales funnel to target Nigerians in diaspora. This is how to put up your ad to reach Nigerians in diaspora. This is how to put up your keywords. This is how to actually get your detailed targeting. This is how to set up your YouTube campaign to reach Nigerians in diaspora. So everything is going to be click here, do this, do this, do this. All right. That is why I actually tagged it implementation bootcamp. It's not going to be story. All right. This particular webinar is going to be the introductory strategy session, while the implementation bootcamp and the extended 3 months follow-up will be specifically let us implement. All right, good one. Now, let's get here. So, how do we activate the signs of effective positioning and prospecting? All right, how do we activate the signs of effective positioning and prospecting? Please confirm to me that you are seeing my screen. Are you? All right, all right. For those who have just joined us, my name is Timothy Anietia. All right. I lead very serious team of Marketing Lab HQ. All right, we are a technology and marketing agency. We've existed since 2012. Reason why I say so was that we started projecting as Team Tech Solution, purely a website design and mobile application development companies far back in 2012, which we projected and won the African Internet Business School Award in 2014 as the best website design company of the year in Nigeria. And then we proceeded to win the Full Gospel Businessman Fellowship International Award for Young Enterprising Person of the Year 2015. That is the Full Gospel Businessman International national award. All right, and then 2016, we also got another recognition by and out. So we have been existing for a long while before we transited from Team Tech Solution to Marketing Lab HQ. Marketing Lab HQ became a household name just to take care of corporate training and marketing services because we decided to do beyond website design. That was in 2019 when we pivoted into this particular stage. So, if we are meeting for the first time, you can actually just take your time and go to Google and type who is Timothy Anete, and you will read a lot more about me. And if you've not read a book by me titled Beyond Media Buying, all right, you have to buy that book and also have access to it. It's available. It's not an ebook. It's a physical copy, all right, published physical copy that can be delivered to you in your location. All right, that book was published in 2019. All right, so we've existed for a very long time and we've done our best in this industry. So let's go. How do we activate the signs of effective prospecting? All right. So basically, let's start by what Gartner actually talked about prospecting. Before we are going to be leveling out between prospecting and positioning. All right. We're going to try to see the difference between prospecting and positioning. All right. They are two different things, but they mean very important things to themselves. So the first thing here is prospecting. What is actually prospecting? All right. Can anybody, some of us will say it starts from lead acquisition. So is there a difference between lead acquisition and prospecting? All right. Can someone just unmute and speak to us quickly if there is anyone that would want to share an insight with us what prospecting really is? What do you really understand by prospecting? Does anyone want to say anything to us? Mr. Nath, welcome. And all right, Mr. Fabu, please go ahead. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, Gartner actually has a deeper explanation with the right elements on what prospect effective. Don't just take note. It's not just prospecting. Effective prospecting. What effective prospecting should be. All right. So Gartner actually says that effective prospecting is primarily the first step of the sales process. All right, the very first step of the sales process, which involves, now take note of this important element. Take note of this important element, which involves identifying and contacting potential customers. Now, the first element is identifying. The second there is contacting. And then the third one says potential customers. Now, listen, you are not contacting random people. All right, this is where the problem is. So a lot of people have been contacting random people, but Gartner specifically just told us what an effective prospecting should be. All right, so in his simple explanation, it's simply a step that involves identifying and contacting potential customers. Now, this is where your keyword research comes in. All right, who are these people that are looking out for what you have? Now, the first step is that you've identified the fact that presently in our country, the category of people who buy properties are the Nigerians in diaspora, the wealth preservers, and the creative industry income earners based on buying capacity. See, I am interested means nothing without buying capacity. Without the ability to pay for that product, it actually means absolutely nothing. All right, so basically, in immediately aligning this, you have to first of all be able to identify who they are that you want to make your effort at. All right, because you are going to make a voided effort if you are contacting people who actually have interest, but home and abroad, the money in the account is just 500,000, whereas your property is from 5 million naira upward. See, there is no magic. The interest is there, but if it didn't day, it didn't day. There is no magic you would do to bring out the money from them because they have 500,000 everywhere in their lives, and then your property is from 5 million. They are having very strong interests, and then you hear things like, I will get back to you. I love the location. I will get back to you. It's not enough. If you keep speaking to people who have interests but can't buy, you'll be frustrated. This is why we start by primarily aligning the interest with the right audience, meaning that potential customer, people who are likely going to buy. The goal of prospecting is to create a database of likely customers. Now, this is it. When we get to our effective real estate funnel, you realize that creating a database of likely customers involves pre-qualifying every of the leads before you capture. You are not supposed to be capturing every lead because you see, when it comes to this kind of business, you are not selling wristwatch, you are not selling shirts, you are not selling shoes, you are selling special products. All right, real estate has been identified as a special product, so you ought not to acquire every interest. All right, so at the point of acquisition, you have a very wide top at your funnel, which everyone can actually jump in. All right, but at the process of jumping in, you also have to be able to squeeze in and be sure that they pass through a particular test before they can have access to cross over. All right, at that point in marketing, it is called pre-qualifying the lead. All right, so what Gartner is saying is that you have to create a database of likely customers. All right, database of likely customers, that database of people who are likely going to buy because they have the capacity. All right, so now aligning this, aligning the explanation with the effective real estate sales funnel, we have something like this. I just explained to you that we are going to be having a wider top where everyone is allowed to jump in. When they see your offer, your content, your campaigns, all right, when they see your marketing campaigns on your, maybe your YouTube through video, maybe on a blog, all right, maybe on your Facebook, maybe on your web page, all right, maybe on Instagram. All right, when they see your offer, it will interest a whole lot of people and they will jump in. All right, so you can see how wide the top is. Everyone is allowed to jump in. Now, when they are jumping in, one of the things you must carefully take note of is the fact that not everyone should have access to go in deeper into this particular funnel. Now, at this stage where they are jumping in is where the pre-qualifying level begins. All right, this is why in our implementation bootcamp, one of the things we are going to do is that we will come up with pre-qualifying. Now, if you look out for how you came into, all right, how you came into the list. All right, let me show you what I did to pre-qualify you into the lead. All right, to pre-qualify you, I decided that you have to give me some information about you. All right, you have to tell me how long you've been in business. You have to tell me how what your expectation is in sales. All right, now at this point, you can still see my screen, right? Okay, good. Now, these are the most important assets that I needed from you here. Your name, your email, and your phone number are the most important asset because I would likely need to get in touch with you. My team would likely want to call you. All right. So the next one was for me to be able to categorize you. I needed to know if you are a realtor or if you are a developer or if you are both. All right. Because for developers, we also have additional offer to them, all right, beyond a realtor. And then I needed to know what your sales target monthly is so that I will know how to categorize your interest. Now, this is pre-qualifying you, all right? Now, according to Seth Gordon says for everyone you spend at least 20 seconds to complete a task on your web page has a stronger interest in what you are offering. All right, so most of the times I have often said that everyone who does WhatsApp campaign should stop. All right, if you are one of those who actually have been engaged in WhatsApp campaigns, you really have to be able to put an end to it because you are going to acquire mistaken leads. All right, WhatsApp campaigns bring a lot of mistaken leads. So before they come to WhatsApp, they should be pre-qualified at your funnel. Now, pre-qualification simply means that you have to know what their property interest is. Are they looking out for a commercial property? Are they looking out for a private property? Is there a particular location they have in mind? Do they have a particular budget? Anybody who just have interest in property without a budget is not ready to buy. What's their budget for the property? All right, if you're able to get them a particular offer that fits into their budget, are they able to make a buying decision in the next 7 days, or let's even say in the next 30 days? Now, this would enable you to project rightly and give your communication an effective one because already you have gotten the right message from them, which will be used to actually engage them because that is when your prospecting begins. After lead acquisition, you begin your prospecting journey. At that point, we actually call it customer journey. All right, that's when you begin your customer journey where you are able to get back to them on what they had given you as an information. All right, so Madam Evelyn, we received your submission for the interest in our property. All right, so basically, from the information you submitted, you said you want to have a property for commercial purposes. Firstly, we would like to know, madam, the commercial purpose, is it for rental or you are building a mall? And then I will wait to get a feedback from you. When you tell me a feedback, so beautiful. All right, now from the information I've gotten from you, I have two important options for you, two beautiful options that really fit into the options you have. All right, so now we have a property in this location and then we have a property in this location, but I would like to recommend this particular location. This is the reason. At this location we have all the basic amenities that will aid your effective projection in your in what you want, all right, based on the property interest you have. All right. So, and then you start analyzing all the benefits of those locations, not the features. Please don't analyze features of a location, analyze benefits. All right. Analyze benefit of the location. For instance, the difference between feature and benefit is that, all right, for one of the features, the property is located close to Dangote refinery. Feature. All right, benefit. All right, so now since you're actually having interest in building a commercial property, you are going to be building this within the recently named industrial hub of Nigeria. Well, we can actually say industrial hub of Lagos presently, because this is actually the new Lagos where all the important industries are being built at. So now I'm giving you opportunity to also build your commercial properties around this new Lagos. You know already we are having the new airport being sited in this location. We are already having the biggest refinery in the country being sited in this location. We are also having the biggest this. We're also having the biggest that. We also have the best this. We have the best that. But you know the most important reason why you should build your commercial property in this location, because you are not going to lack patronage. All right, all the staff of this company, all you start citing all those important benefits, not features. Now this is it, your journey with this person has begun. All right, so now by the time you start communicating with them, they will now start conversation with you as well. The moment you've started conversation with you simply means that you have been able to activate them. So you have to first of all activate the lead before you can close the lead. All right, activating them simply means that you have been able to identify their need and you're already serving them their need. All right, speaking to them exactly in the language that they expect, the same thought frequency. You have to be able to stay at the same thought frequency with them to be able to close them. All right, at this point you take them down from the prospect level to the customer conversation level. All right, so they now start telling you, oh, it's interesting. All right, so more, but the most important thing is that this property appreciates almost every month. 3 months ago, this property was sold at, you mentioned the price. And then, so one of the things I do tell realtors is that you don't sell based on assumption. You sell based on verified metrics. As a realtor, you need to have access to data. You are not a motivational speaker. Have access to data. Don't just say, this location is one of the most appreciating location, like it grows very fast. Last year they sell at this amount, or this year no. you know um Based on the data that we have on the metrics of these properties, it actually increases at so percentage. Speak as a professional with percentage. Why I actually said at this percentage is that just 3 months when he started selling this property, it was sold for 4.8 million, and then it was increased by 20%, and then the price became, and then after a month it was increased again by another 10%, and the price became this. So now you are citing the right metrics, not assumption, not motivation. The customer is already seeing you as someone who is not just a property marketer, but an investment expert. All right, you are also going to be cited as an investment advisor. All right, because nobody actually, let me tell you sincerely, nobody primarily wants to buy land. People want to invest their money in an easily liquidated asset. All right, especially with the economic situation at the moment, nobody wants to tie their funds in the bank. They want to be sure that where they put their money, they can wake up in another 3, 4, 5 years and the money can be flipped, the property can be flipped and they can recover their money. All right, so you have to be able to gain them at that particular level. All right, have a conversation before you bring in your offer. So now to bring in your offer, you have to integrate two important things. Urgency, number one. You have to bring in urgency in your offer. All right, this property is not going to lie here longer than expected. As a matter of fact, there's been a price increase negotiation at the moment in the office, and it will take effect in another 72 hours. But I want to pin it down for you. If you are not able to make a decision in the next 72 hours, I want to gain an assurance from you. I will be able to negotiate with my management and keep this for you in another 14 days. But promise me you will not fail to make a commitment between now and the next 7 days so you can still access it within the the price range of the moment, because in another 72 hours you are likely going to pay 20% extra, but I don't want you to do that. So now you are actually buying them in. All right, so people always want to feel like they are cheating you or like they are the one riding you. Nobody wants to feel cheated. Allow yourself to be cheated as the marketer. All right, let them have their way. All right, but strategically you are actually not being cheated. All right, you are integrating urgency. All right, and then at the same time you are integrating threat, which are two major integrations in marketing communication and sales. All right, urgency and threats. All right, it's expiring soon. It's already been estimated in the office that in another 72 hours. So be specific. Soon has no specific time. All right, be time specific if you must be able to gain their immediate attention and interest. All right, so basically here, your sales funnel must be able to communicate exactly what the need of your clients are, all right, so that you can effectively serve them, that pre-qualify them. Remember, pre-qualify them, all right, activate them, engage them in a conversation, all right, then call your offer. At the point of calling your offer, be sure that you have been able to integrate urgency and threats at that particular process. Now, how do you do this practically? I've always said that I'm not a fan of go and do this, go and do that, go and do this. I'm actually a practical person. That's why our trainings have always been implementation. All right. So now it's actually why we are going to be having an extended implementation period where we are going to do this in our 3 month boot camp. All right. So the next option here would be you understanding the industry that you are, which I believe you already know. But then I already cited that you, before you start complaining of 2024 being a slow year, I want to ask you, so far in February, how many people have you spoken to? All right. So now, one of the challenges we have in sales is actually that we don't speak to a lot of people. And then we actually expect the magic to happen. All right. So, especially in real estate is a manual closing process. Forget about automation. All right. Forget about WhatsApp message. By the time you acquire lead, the immediate thing is that between 0 to 20 minutes, all right, of acquisition of that lead, you must get in touch with them. Within 0 to 20 minutes of acquisition of the lead, you must get in touch with them. All right. So the more people you speak to in a month, the more your chances. So monthly, please work with just 2% conversion ratio. Every month, work with 2% conversion ratio. All right, that means that if you want to sell 20 properties in a month, you must speak to how many people? 1,000 people in a month at 2% ratio. All right, so if you want to sell five in a month, you must speak to 500 people. It's large a number, right? But you have to do it. So before you speak to the 500 people, you must have actually been able to sell more. All right. This is actually, I have one of my students who is actually an integral part of my academy. All right. He speaks to at least 50 people every day. All right. It does not take any call. As a matter of fact, the phone number he uses to make calls to clients is not the phone number other people know. All right. So every of his phone will be silenced while he's between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. He is speaking to his lead, his client, people that have indicated interest in the properties. 50 leads in a day. All right. And then at the end of every month, being 30 days, he has spoken to quite a good number. And then monthly, he sells to at least five people. Five people buy property from him at least every month. Now, there is no magic. You just have to learn to manually close You have to speak to as many people as possible. Keep your ad active, generate the leads, let the leads come. Be sure that you are actively taking advantage of the lead. Let your ad be active, all right? Keep it active, generate the lead, speak to enough people, all right, daily. Speak to enough people daily. Be sure that you are converting. If you speak to 50 people in a day and you do not make any sale, don't worry. The next day, speak to another 50 people. All right, follow up after the call, return to WhatsApp, continue the follow up, and then keep sending them what needs to be done. Basically, what you need to do is that after you've spoken to them on the phone, it doesn't end there. All right, there is something called educational based strategy in marketing. All right, after you've spoken to them, deploying the strategy that you need, you have to come back. For instance, if you are targeting Nigerians in diaspora and you've gotten the leads, you have to come back and say, two most important documents to verify before you buy properties in Lagos. All right. 3 or 4 based locations in Lagos State at the moment that is secured for your property investment. How to avoid government marked location if you must buy property in Lagos State. Now, you have spoken with these people, you've already shown expertise in your call with them, and you're coming back to display further expertise with your educational based strategy. You are doing a lot. You are doing a whole lot to them. They're already seeing you as a selfless person. In marketing, it is called reciprocity. All right, you are giving before requesting. All right, by the time you have given, they will also reciprocate. All right, at this point, their reciprocation rather would be that they will start asking you, okay, so you mean this location is the best? So now, how do I get to be sure that? So at this point, they are going to start asking important questions. Their fear must be handled because to sell to Nigerians in diaspora, the primary thing is that everybody that reaches out to them is a suspect. That's the primary thing. As long as he's a Nigerian and he's abroad, everybody that reaches out to them talking about investment back home is primarily a suspect. So you have to be able to build a digital trust. It's part of the things we train on. All right. You have to be able to build a digital trust so that they see you as someone who deserves their attention, not someone who just needs their money. All right. I've said this before. Stop selling properties. Stop selling land, stop selling building. Nobody cares about the properties you are selling. All right. You will sell more the moment you continue selling value, all right, more than selling properties. Okay, so basically, I actually just told you how Tiwa Gardens we were able to strategically bring in AY and then they sold value at the state of mind they are, I mean, to the prospect. All right, their target was actually the creative industry income earners. All right, so they brought in someone they respect in the industry who is actually a frontier in the industry that the youth respect, the Gen Z respect as a value, a valuable individual. All right. So now you have to learn to sell the state of mind that the company you are selling to send you their design doesn't mean that you should keep projecting with their design. Sit back, analyze your strategy, all right? Come up with your strategy. You are selling your property, fine. Is the company's property. The same flyer they share to you, they probably shared it to hundreds of thousands of others who are also realtors affiliated with them. Be different. All right. In this particular course, I also talk about exclusivity. All right. Build your exclusivity into your marketing communication. Be different. All right. Sell state of mind instead of selling land. Don't just sell properties. Sell investment. Sell the future. All right. For instance, this is one of the ways to sell values. If I want to sell properties to a family. There's a particular category of family that I would like to target if I be a realtor today. I will target a Nigerian who have at least a child between 2 to 8 years. All right, and the message will be targeted at the wife. If I understand that the family have at least income capacity of not less than 10 million at the moment in that family, so I'll be targeting the wife. All right, and the message will be that if you have a child today that is between 2 to 8 years, and then you are presently living in Nigeria, and then you have interest of this child studying abroad by the time he turns 18, or studying in one of the most prestigious private universities in Nigeria, like Covenant University, which is equivalent to studying abroad, that is something I would like to recommend to you. Today, if you have at least 3.5 to 5 million naira, do not use that money in your next vacation. I want you to tie it on the child's future. Now, bring in this money. Of course, you craft it better in your sales communication. Bring in the money and then get this property in a secured location which is appreciating at this ratio. All right. Monthly, this property appreciates by 10%. So, in about 10 years from now, this property worth 3.5 million today will be worth at least 18 to 21 million. I'm just making assumption. Of course, we are going to merge your data right enough. And then imagine you in the next number of years not having to stress yourself putting in your hand in your savings to send your child abroad, but just put your hand, go to where you have actually tied your child's income into a property, and then flip the property and send the child abroad for his further education, and then you get relieved as a parent in your retirement age. Then tell me if this won't be one of the best achievements for you as a parent. And if this message is directed to a wife, and the wife knows that in the household, the husband has up to that amount in that family, trust me, women value the security of their children's future a whole lot, as much as men do. But women are more emotional to it. Men are more logical. Before a man would bring out that 5 billion at the moment, I mean, immediately he will first think, what if I lose that land? So what if will be so much in the man's mind. But for the woman, she's already seeing the child in Canada by the time he turns 18. She's already seeing the child in Australia. So there is nothing going in the mind of the wife rather than we must get this so that Junior's future will be secured. By the time he turns 18, we can just sell the property and we go abroad immediately. Junior doesn't have to start. So apparently, what are you trying to do? You have set up a war in the family for yourself. So now the wife will become your mouthpiece because you targeted the wife. She will now become your mouthpiece in that family until the husband buys that property. There will not be peace as long as there is money in that family. So basically, what you were able to sell to that family was not land or building. You sold value and the state of mind. They are already thinking of the strenuous economic challenges in the country now, and they do not want their children to grow up and face similar challenges. They will want something that will easily take their children abroad, and you are offering that at the moment. All right. So there is no how they will not pay attention to you. It's a unique strategy that people are not deploying easily because they do not understand how to go about it. We are going to implement this in our bootcamp for you. All right. Everyone is not going to implement the same thing. We know how to specifically implement independently because we know we are going to have good number of persons in the training, but then strategies are different, approaches are different. All right, the content are different, the concepts are different. All right, so but basically the sky is too wide. Okay, so we're having we're supposed to connect for 1 hour. All right, we still have time. All right, so here, before you roll, I've already said this about sales. I've explained that now, but let's go down to how you can avoid mistaken lead. I told you to stop using ads to WhatsApp. But before we talk about mistaken lead, I want to explain something about positioning to you. All right, this is probably the last thing we're going to be doing today, digital positioning. All right, let me explain what positioning means and why it's more important. Positioning is more important than prospecting. All right, now what is positioning and what is prospecting? Already we have identified what prospecting is, and we have actually talked about what prospecting is. And then positioning is simply putting yourself at a place where your intending customers are looking for you. All right. So simply, let me rephrase that. It's simply staying at a position where you can be discovered by people who are looking for what you offer. All right. While prospecting is you going after people whom you think need what you offer. But positioning, you are staying at a place where you know that people you are actually waiting for would come locating you. All right. And it's been verified with statistics that 90% of people who identify you where you were positioned and come to you would buy faster than those you went after. All right. See, when people see you on Google, most times when a lot of people come through my channel on YouTube and then they are like, I just watched this video on YouTube on how you talked about how to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora, and you said there is a course for it, and also you said you have a training. How can I be a part of the training? Those sort of people usually pay for the training faster than those I am running campaigns to target. Reason is that they have already experienced me before they came to me. Now, for instance, if someone comes here on YouTube now and then is looking for information, and one of the informations he's looking out for is how can I sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora. For instance, someone comes here to search how can I sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora. And then this is YouTube. And the first video, this is actually paid ad. And then the second video here, which is actually the first organic video, is my video. And then the content says how to sell real estate properties to Nigerians in diaspora. And it's actually what the person is looking for. The second content also says selling real estate property to Nigerians abroad or in Nigeria. Do this to sell more. All right. And then you scroll down again and you are still seeing the next content is also my content, Timothy Anete, how to sell real estate properties. And then you scroll down again and you realize that the next video is still mine. And you are like, okay, let me open this video and watch. Who is he? All right. Now I've been able to position myself well enough to be able to get you to pay attention to that YouTube. So at this point, the person will come in gradually wanting to know, okay, contacting me, how can I attend your next training? All right. So basically, that is positioning. By the time you are able to position well enough, which is one of the things I'm actually going to take you through in the implementation workshop, so that your intending customer will be able to identify you where you are positioned. And when they identify you where you are positioned, they will buy faster. All right? They will buy faster from you when they are able to identify you where you are positioned. Okay, so buy and out at this point, positioning simply means that you understand one keyword, you understand two meta tags, you understand three unique contents in description, you also understand how to take advantage of media in terms of content on social media, content on Google business page, all right, content on YouTube, content on websites, all right, content on generally digital medias, the kind of content you put out, because the truth remains that educational based strategy remains the best strategy in the world. All right, so for instance, people are actively looking out for property information they need before they buy, all right, like property documents, unique locations, how to avoid being scammed. People are looking out for those information, and these are people who want to buy properties. And then when they identify you as one of those who have authored such content on digital media, all right, they will take advantage of you. See, if you are part of those who hasn't actually who haven't paid for the boot camp, you shouldn't miss it. Why I made it for 3 months is because I know that a day won't be enough. We have to extend it after the one day. We have to also extend it for other days so that we can keep implementing until you get your result. Don't miss it for anything. All right. So basically, this is where we are going to stop for the webinar today. And there is something I want to do for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there anyone here among us who hasn't paid? Madam Evelyn, I'm sure you've not paid for the boot camp. Mr. Nath, I'm just seeing you for the first time. You've not paid. Those that have paid messaged on WhatsApp already. Mr. Febu, are you one of those that paid? The name sounds familiar. All right. And Mr. Adebisi, is that a lady or a man? Mr. Adebisi Adigun. All right. So if you are yet to pay for that boot camp, there is something I will do for you. If you are willing to take advantage of the discount I will give you today by because you spend 1 hour with me today in this particular webinar, message me privately immediately after this bootcamp. I will give you extra discount to take advantage of immediately today. I won't say it here. Your further interest will be when you come to my WhatsApp to message me privately. That's when I will know you really want to attend the bootcamp, and I will give you an extra discount if you are willing to pay for it today. And don't forget, I also share this video in the group. Are you in the group, madam? Okay, all right. So if you are not in the group, okay, you received the mail, right? Okay, all right, all right. Okay, so that's fine. This is my WhatsApp number. Can you see it? Can you see it? Are you there? All right, all right. I've also pasted it in the chat box in case anyone wants to get that. All right, so basically, just message me after now, and any other person that wants to take advantage of that should also message me. It's going to be a very interesting ride, and I will share this video as well in the group. And at the same time, you can subscribe to my YouTube. I share snippets of trainings there and also some unique strategic contents in the channel as well, on the channel rather. So you can actually sign up as well there. And please don't miss a boot camp for anything. If you must break through selling to Nigerians abroad, because if you can't sell to Nigerians abroad, you're actually going to be with those who are still in Nigeria because there are still a bit of struggle at the moment in the country because of exchange rate. A lot of people are looking out for Nigerians abroad, but then not everyone is able to identify those who truly are willing to buy properties. There are things you must do. There are things you must know, and I know them. I have guided a lot of people. I've guided a lot of companies as well. Come in, let's work with you in the next 3 months. All right, see you in the group. Thank you for your time. Does anybody have any question, any anything you want to say? You can just unmute and say, please. All right, sure. All right. Any other person? All right. Thank you so much. That will be all for today. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you. Have a blessed evening and a good weekend as well. All right.